Hi everyone, this is Zeffy and I'm here to share my pocket letter for the March swap. Like you all know, we do a swap here in Athens, and basically in Greece we have a Facebook page and we swap, and this month the theme was carnival, and we've actually in Lent as I speak to you now, and I didn't have anything with the carnival theme, in fact, and my saving grace was the fact that besides carnival, the prompt was to do some mixed media. So I had an arting weekend, and I had some white paint left over, so I thought let me just put it through a stencil and see how it turns out. It was very faint, so I put a white paint, acrylic paint, onto some watercolor paper and let it dry. You actually can't see the flowers, and there you can see that quite all that white is from the stencil. And then of course I went and covered it over with a lace like a bozo. Anyway, so once that was dried, I pulled out my Marion Smith mists from Color Lab and sprayed that, and then some Lindy's Stamp Gang, and on top of that some liquid. This here is liquid acrylics, and it turned out quite nicely. And then I thought, well, let me use this, and I cut it all up, but I hadn't photographed it, so at the end I just put these. This was a little bit longer. I put it in the scanner and I scanned some of the artwork. You can see it's much lighter on the scanner. I suppose one could fix it up a bit on the computer, but I was too busy working at that stage. And I used this paper for the back of the pocket letter because the back of my paper was white, and because this is 140 pound watercolor paper, it's quite thick, so it was good to have a thinner paper at the back. It was a bit of a mission to get both pieces to line up at the back, but that's another story. So this is going to an island called Samos. My mom was actually from Samos, so Eleftheria is very special because she lives there. And I use a nice piece of bling from my stash on the two masks that I cut with my silhouette. I cut smaller masks as well with the silhouette. There's a little black one in there, can you see? And another one there. And then I cut Carnival to 16. And if there, you're going to have to search for those little surprises. They're sandwiched in between the two pieces of paper. That's an ancient Prima chipboard element. All the elements are stuck on with glue dots, Eleftheria, so you can take them off and use them. This mask is stuck on with wire, and at the back here I've just put this flower to protect you from getting scratched with a little piece of wire. I brought the wire through onto the pocket sleeve, you see. So if you want to use up the stuff, please take it off and use it. This is the Heart by Wilna Furstenberg. There's a mask, as I said. And then at the bottom here, I wanted to add a little bit of color. I was very inspired by the Venetian carnival. So I wanted to incorporate some lace. So this lace my friend Lucy from St. Laurent in Pretoria had sent to me. So I just added some lace on top of the cards. I just put the 3 cards in a row and then glued the lace on and snipped it off once it was dry. There's a little arrow cut with my silhouette. So my silhouette was put into good use. I wanted to put sequins in on this pocket letter as well as feathers, but they didn't seem to want to stay here. Oh, another thing I didn't tell you is while I was coloring the paper, I thought, let me see if I can color a feather purple, because I had no purple feathers. And I sprayed it with the Marion Smith paints, and look at the lovely prints I made by just dragging the feather. I was dragging it this way, can you see? Just putting it on the paper and dragging it, and I got some very nice effects. You can see this is the first time I tried it, and just from the paint that was on here I did quite a lot. And this, I'll show you the letter here. The feather doesn't seem to match anywhere, so the feather didn't want to go with it, wanted to stay here with me. In this pocket I have my letter to her, and I used the thin paper that I'd colored. This is a little magnet for a page, to keep your page when you read. Can you see? On this piece of paper I just used some distress inks, and then I went over it with the inked up feather, and that's my little letter to her. I'll fix that in a while. So over here I've made some layered hearts. I don't know if you can see them, those that you cut with the little tassels. So I've got 2 of those and various other hearts in there. There I have some bows for her. On this sleeve, on this little pocket, I cut out, that's why this paper is shorter, I cut out a little piece for a spool and wrap some lace around it. This is a layered embellishment and some die cuts. Here's some sequins and 2 masks. You see, here's a little packet of masks. Maybe I can take those out. Although this pocket is very, very thick. Oh, here we go. It's just 3 vectors that I got on the internet that I cut. I was quite chuffed with them. There they are. And then Eleftheria, excuse me, excuse me for the coughing. In between the 2 pockets you'll see that there are other things as well. That's a piece of a roll of washi tape with some feathers, a crown, a bow, and here's a selection of feathers. Some of the papers, the backing papers at the back, I've just used masks. So there's 5 masks and the rest is our artwork. There we go, Eleftheria. I hope you enjoy it. I should be mailing it out today or tomorrow. So keep well. Bye.